Hi there, everyone. In these problems, we're asked to simplify problems involving an exponent that's a rational number, a quotient of two integers. So let's do part A here. We have to simplify 100 to the 3/2 power. Well, what we can do here is we can write 3/2 as the product of two fractions. 1/2 times 3. 1/2 times 3 is the same as 3/2. And what we can do now is we can use the property of exponents, which means this says that when you multiply exponents together, it's the same thing as raising this to this power and then raising it to that power. That's the power property for exponents. So sometimes they call it the power to a power property. So this is 100 to the 1/2 power raised to the 3rd power. Okay, so now what can we do? Well, 1/2 power means square root, right? So this is the square root of 100 raised to the 3rd power. And I know what the square root of 100 is. Let me move up here. The square root of 100 is just 10. So this is just 10 to the 3rd power. And 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So 100 to the 3/2 power is exactly 1,000. That's the final answer. Okay, next problem. We want to simplify 49 to the -5/2. Okay, we're going to break this problem down the same way we did the other one. We're going to write this as 49 to the 1/2 to the -5th power, right? Because -5 times 1/2 is -5/2. Now, what's 49 to the 1/2 power? That's the same thing as the square root of 49. And we know what the square root of 49 is. 49 is exactly 7 squared, so the square root of 49 is 7. So this is 7 to the -5. Okay? Well, we can do a little bit more here. Let's go up here. Whenever I have a negative exponent, that's the same thing as reciprocating and making the exponent positive. So this is 1 over 7 to the +5. Right? So in the final step here, this is going to be a very large number. So I'm not sure if I should compute this or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's 16,807 using my calculator. All right, so that's the final answer. You might just leave it like this, because it's kind of simpler like this than writing out all this very large number. Or they might want this as your final answer. So either one of these just depends on what format they want the answer in. Okay, let's go to the last problem. The last problem is to simplify -100 to the 3/2. Similar to the first problem, which was +100 to the 3/2, here we have -100 to the 3/2. Let's see what happens. Well, this is -100 raised to the 1/2 raised to the 3rd power. Right? Because 3 times 1/2 is 3/2, so I can break it down like this. And what's -100 to the 1/2? Well, that's the square root of -100. Well, wait a minute. I'm looking for a number whose square is -100. That's what the square root of -100 is. But there is no such number. Whenever I square a number, I always get something non-negative. And here we have something negative. It's impossible to come up with an answer to this using the real numbers. So what I write here is I write is not a real number. If you use complex numbers or imaginary numbers and study those, you can make something meaningful out of this. But in our class, for intermediate algebra, we're not going to do that, at least not yet. So we're just going to write not a real number.